In a bustling Lagos office, bustling with the noise of ringing phones and stressed-out employees, Tayo sat at her desk, feeling uneasy. She glanced at her colleagues, whispers flying around like paper planes. Something was definitely off. Her manager, Mr. Aide, had called her into his office earlier, a serious look on his face, unlike any she had seen before. "Ah, Tayo," Mr. Aide began, looking up from his polished desk as she entered. "Please, sit down." Tayo hesitated, sensing trouble, and sat cautiously. "Is everything okay, sir?" she asked, managing a small smile. Mr. Aide sighed, avoiding her eyes. "Tayo, it's about your position here. Due to certain circumstances and company policy." Mr. Aide's voice trailed off, his fingers nervously tapping the desk. "We must let you go." "What?" Tayo's voice cracked in disbelief. "But why? I've done everything right. My work has always been praised." "We received a notice," Mr. Aide said softly, "about your pregnancy." "So, because I'm pregnant, I'm fired?" Tayo whispered, her eyes glassy. Mr. Aide looked pained, his voice barely above a whisper. "It's policy. I wish things were different." Tayo stood abruptly, her chair scraping against the cold tile floor. "I'll leave today then," she said, her voice stronger now. Her respect and hope for years of hard work were crumbling right in front of her. Back at her desk, colleagues avoided eye contact, pretending to be engrossed in their tasks. Tayo packed her things slowly, each item a reminder of her diligence and loyalty to the company. Her heart ached as she placed a small picture frame into a box, her husband's smiling face looking up at her, oblivious to the pain she was now feeling. As she walked down the office corridor, whispers followed. "Can you believe it?" someone muttered. "Fired just for that." "It's unfair," another voice chimed in quietly, "but the company won't change its policy." Tayo felt invisible. Anger simmered beneath her calm mask. This was not just a dismissal, it felt like a betrayal, one that would not be easily forgotten. At home, Tayo sat quietly on the couch, her mind replaying the day's events like a broken record. Her husband, Kabir, sat beside her, worry etched across his face. "What will we do now?" he asked, softly rubbing her back. "We'll find a way," Tayo murmured, staring distantly at the wall. "But I won't let them get away with this." Days turned into weeks, with Tayo moving through life in a haze. Everything she once believed stable was now shaky ground beneath her feet. At the market, women gossiped openly, and she could feel their eyes on her, guessing whether she'd manage without the steady salary she once had. One evening, Tayo received a phone call from an old friend, Sade. "Tayo," Sade began hesitantly, "I heard what happened. Are you okay?" Tayo hesitated but then poured out her frustrations. "This isn't right, Sade. I won't just sit here and do nothing." "You should fight it," Sade encouraged. "Don't let them do this to you without a fight." The next day, in a modest law office, Tayo met with a lawyer. "It's a clear case of discrimination," the lawyer said confidently. "We can take them to court." Tayo felt a surge of hope, her resolve strengthening. She pictured herself standing up for not only herself but for others in her situation. This was bigger than just her job, it was about justice. The whispers in town shifted. Some encouraged Tayo, while others doubted her chances against the large company. But Tayo found strength in Kabir and those who stood by her side. Her determination became a shield against doubt. One rainy evening, as thunder rumbled outside, Tayo prepared for her first court appearance. She looked at Kabir standing beside her, his silent strength echoing through the room. "Even if this takes time," Kabir said, holding her hand, "I'm with you." Tayo nodded, her heart warmed by his support. "We won't let them win easily," she replied quietly, a fire igniting in her eyes. Inside the courtroom, Tayo faced the company's legal team. She told her story, her voice steady but strong. She was scared, but also empowered. She saw the flicker of recognition in the judge's eyes, a spark of understanding she desperately hoped would translate into justice. As the hearing drew to a close, the opposing team threw in an unexpected challenge, calling for a surprise witness to question Tayo's work ethic. Her heart sank, suspicion creeping in. "Just stick to your truth," Tayo's lawyer said, sensing her worry. The courtroom buzzed with tension as Tayo prepared to defend herself again. Her nerves balanced on a knife's edge, but as she took a deep breath and looked across the room, she saw the eyes of those who doubted her and those who believed. She knew this fight would be longer than she anticipated, but turning back was no longer an option. The path forward was fraught with resistance, but it was a path worth walking, one she could not afford to abandon. As she waited for the verdict, the world held its breath, ready to tip her story into either victory or another loss. Tayo stood outside the courtroom, her breath mingling with the chilly evening air. Kabir joined her, his expression one of cautious optimism. "That was intense," he said, trying to lift her spirits. Tayo nodded, her mind spinning with 1,000 thoughts. The company lawyers had been crafty, discrediting her while she bravely shared her truth. As much as the support of her lawsuit was reassuring, doubt whispered at the edges of her resolve. Back home, Tayo sat with Kabir on their small balcony, overlooking the vibrant city lights of Lagos. "Ah, Tayo," he began, hesitating. What if things don't go our way?" She expelled a breath she hadn't realized she was holding. "I can't think like that, Kabir. I won't." Her voice was firm but tinged with the fragility she tried to mask. "This isn't just for us. It's for everyone who got silenced." The next day, while waiting in line at the market, Tayo overheard two women discussing her case. She's brave, but do you think she can really win against them?" one woman asked the other. Her companion shrugged. "God works in mysterious ways," she murmured. "Sometimes we think we need revenge, but maybe he has a bigger plan." Tayo pretended to focus on the vegetables before her, but the words struck a chord within her, echoing in her mind as she returned home. A week later, Tayo was invited to a women's group meeting led by Pastor Funmi, an old family friend. She hesitated, but knew the community's support could uplift her spirit. With a mix of emotions, she attended. Pastor Funmi welcomed her warmly. "Tayo," she exclaimed, enveloping Tayo in a comforting hug. "How are you, my dear?" Tayo smiled weakly. "I'm holding on." As the women shared their stories, Funmi spoke up, her voice resonant with empathy and conviction. "Sometimes, when the world seems against us, that's when we need to let God in the most. Revenge may seem sweet, but it leaves a bitter aftertaste. Only Christ can heal our deepest wounds." Pastor Funmi's words lingered long after the meeting ended. As Tayo trudged home that evening, her heart heavy with doubt, she stumbled upon a street preacher proclaiming, in Yoruba, "Olodumare ni oni itan ayeraye re." God holds your eternal story. Her defenses crumbled, and she entered the privacy of her room. Kabir was asleep, trusting her instincts always. "God," she whispered, barely audible, staring at the ceiling. "I don't know if I'm meant to fight like this. Show me a different way, if there is one." The day of the final hearing arrived, thick with unspoken anxiety. As Tayo prepared, she received a surprising knock on the door. It was Nena. "Tayo," she began, guilt shadowing her features. I've been feeling terrible since I testified. The company is wrong. I want to help you if I can." It was unexpected, her presence a reminder of past camaraderie. Tayo regarded her, the bitterness melting slowly. "Will you be willing to testify about the lies they pushed you to tell?" Nena nodded, her eyes earnest. "I want to make this right." Inside the courtroom, tension crackled like static electricity. Tayo and Kabir exchanged tense glances as her lawyer revealed Nena's intention to testify for the truth. The unexpected turn of events left everyone in the courtroom stunned. Through the fog of emotions and technical jargon, Tayo felt a gleam of hope. But with the hope came weighty responsibility, one she couldn't lay down entirely by retaliating. As the court proceedings reached their peak, Tayo caught sight of Mr. Odd in the audience. His betrayal had initially ignited the flame of anger within her. She remembered Pastor Funmi's words. "Vengeance leaves a bitter aftertaste." Suddenly, it all felt too heavy to bear alone. Her eyes closed momentarily, words she hadn't thought of in a long time floated into her consciousness. "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Not revenge, not retribution, rest. The courtroom cleared, awaiting the judge's verdict. Every step to the door felt like a journey laden with exhaustion and anxiety. But in the midst of it all, she recognized the presence of something more, a quiet peace she hadn't known for a while. As her phone buzzed with a message from Pastor Funmi, Tayo read it softly. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. Kabir took her hand, sensing her calm. You did all you could, he said softly. And now it's in God's hands, Tayo replied, finally understanding what it meant to let go and truly trust. She realized she craved not revenge but resolution, not victory, but peace. When the court decision came, Tayo listened with bated breath. The judgment was in her favor, but not entirely. The company was fined and ordered to change their discriminatory policies, yet Tayo was not reinstated. The victory was bittersweet, justice, but not restoration. Outside, as reporters asked for her statement, Tayo paused. Her heart, full yet shaken, rallied her spirit for what meant most. I wanted revenge, she admitted. But I learned that holding on to anger hurts more than letting go. I hoped this fight would change everything, but peace, real peace, it's only found in trusting God. Please remember, it's not always about winning. Sometimes it's about finding grace in the aftermath. Kabir squeezed her hand, his expression one of utmost pride. Behind her, Nena nodded, grateful for Tayo's grace. As they turned to leave, Tayo glanced back at the courthouse, memories of the turmoil both fresh and fading with each step. The storm hadn't passed entirely, but it had transformed. What was once a struggle against the world had become a deeper faith in the unseen threads of God's purpose. As they drove away, the weight of revenge slowly slipped away, replaced by the knowledge that healing and truth could only grow from the seeds planted by forgiveness and faith.
Thank you so much for listening to this intriguing story. I hope it touched you or taught you something. For more stories like this, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the page. And guys, if you'd like to see a part 2, or you have thoughts on what happened, let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. See you in the next story.